Piece Theater, the podcast that doesn't give a shit about spoilers. We just want to talk about the movies. My name is Evan Crean. My pronouns are he, him. I am co-chair of the Boston Online Film Critics Association, co-author of your 80s Movie Guide to Better Living, and co-host of the It's Pictures podcast.
And my name is Dave Riedel. My pronouns are he, him. I write about movies. Well, it's not entirely true. I mostly talk about them now, but I write about them for fun on Letterboxd and one-sentence reviews. That's kind of my thing.
Yeah.
A couple of them have been kind of popular lately. I've been very pleased. Anyway, that's me. I'm a member of the Boston Online Film Critics Association also. I don't know why I went on like that for so long. That was unacceptable. I'm sorry, Evan.
No, it was more than acceptable. People should read your Letterboxd reviews. They're freaking hilarious.
Yeah. My favorite is still, for the visitor, this movie can visit my butt.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. It's my favorite one.
You're like, I'll be here all day.
Did you ever see that one? I can't remember.
The Visitor? I don't know. I don't know if I've seen that one.
Oh man, I should I'll check it out, and then if you haven't, you're fucking watching it, dude, because I want you to know. I want you to know. Anyway. You don't have to watch it.
All right, I'm looking this up. I don't know that I have. Is this from 2024, this movie?
I don't remember when it's
from.
There's a
bunch of it's one of those common enough titles that is like there's a million movies called The Visitor.
Right, but it's the only one where I have 250 likes on a review. Or something. No, the Jerry Seinfeld one has more than that, but yeah. Anyway, we can figure it out later.
One. Yeah, we can figure that out later. We can do that off mic. But we're here to talk about movies as we always do. Before we get to this week's movies, I want to mention over on our Patreon, we were talking about the 1990 film Blue Steel, starring Jamie Lee Curtis, and written and directed by Catherine Bigelow. And it was a first-time watch for one of us. I won't say who. And it was a really fun discussion. So if you're a patron, check that out. And if you are not, consider joining. For $5 a month, you get weekly bonus episodes like that one. There's hundreds of back episodes you can listen to in addition to the 600 plus of this show. Hundreds. And you also get to vote in monthly polls. Those are always a lot of fun. And I think that's all I have to say at the Patreon, other than I want to thank our sponsor piece patron, Heather Sachs. Thank you for your support, Heather.
Thank you, Heather.
Much appreciated, as always.
Oh,
all right.
I want to break in here real quick about the Patreon. Sure. If you start listening from the beginning and you go up to the present now, you can hear my voice get lower with age.
Whoa.
So yeah, your voice is roughly the same because you're still kind of the age where you're not an old man yet, is I guess what I'm trying to say. But
don't worry, I'm getting there.
Yeah, for those of us who are, shall we say, aged, it is noticeable. So there you go.
Well, we have been doing this show for a long time, listeners. If you're just tuning in for the first time, we have been doing this show for almost 12 years. So
my voice used to be like this. It's crazy.
I know. And mine used to be like this.
We used to call him Evan Mickey Mouse Green.
That's right. Boy. Hey, guys.
This is the dumbest thing I've ever done. I'm sorry.
No, we're getting a little silly. It's all right. Yeah. So I think I was about to tell you, listeners, what we're talking about this week. We've got The Drama, which Dave will be talking about in a moment, and Pretty Lethal, which is an action-y horror movie or horror action movie. I don't know. A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
I mean, horror adjacent, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, more action-y than horror-y. But there's some pretty gruesome imagery in there. But I'm very interested to hear about The Drama, which is written and directed by Christopher Borgli. I hope I'm saying that correctly. And it's got Zendaya and Robert Pattinson, Alana Haim, and Mamadou Ati, who I love.
I love him. He's great in this.
Oh, awesome. I'll do the one sentence IMDb and then I'll turn it over to you, Dave. So IMDb says, a happily engaged couple was put to the test when an unexpected turn sends their wedding week off the rails. Tell me more about it.
That is true. Well, I guess what I want to know is, yes, this is spoiler piece, but how much do you really want it to be spoiled?
I don't know. Do your worst.
Okay, so this starts out as a fairly traditional. Now, I will say really quickly, it's not like insane and people start killing each other and like doing that kind of shit. It's not like that kind of movie. All right.
Right.
This is
Yeah, I
just,
didn't think it would be.
yeah. This is just it. I would describe this as a drama that happens to be very funny, but it also is a drama. So there's that too. And it has the drama. So
Would you call
anyway,
it a dramedy, Dave? Or is it more drama that happens to be funny?
it's a drama that happens to be funny.
Okay.
I mean, and it's calculated funniness. It's not like they stumbled on these jokes.
Yeah, not like accidental. They were, walking through the woods, tripped over these jokes, and
Right, exactly.
laid it in the mud.
Or they were filming in Harvard Square and somebody stepped in dog shit and they decided to make that a joke. That's not in the movie, by the way. The movie is shot more or less locally. It takes place in Cambridge, Massachusetts.
Really? I had no idea.
And that's why it turns out it was a cast and crew screening that I went to. I didn't know that until I got the confirmation email. It's like, this is cast and crew screening. So we're going to open the doors like an hour early so you can all like kibitz. And I'm like, what the fuck? And then they're like, yeah, this movie was shot here. I was like, had no idea. But then they're all over Harvard Square. They're all over, you see Somerville here and there, but it's like pretending to be Cambridge because the entire movie takes place in Cambridge. So Robert Pattinson is a curator at one of the museums. I can't remember which one. It doesn't matter. Anyway, because the story is about the two of them, and it starts as a meet cute. He's, sees Zendaya reading a book in a coffee shop, and of course, I can't remember the name of the coffee shop, but I've been there a million times. So
Nice.
It's like that's the kind of attention we pay to detail here on Spoiler Piece, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
So
it's a local place, though, not like a Starbucks or a Dunkin'.
No, it's not a Starbucks.
Gotcha.
It looks kind of like the it looks like a Tate, but I don't think that it is. I can't remember though.
Could
anyway, it could be because there is one in Cambridge, but or there was one in Cambridge. I can't remember. Any spray. I digress. So he sees Zendaya in this bookshop. He gets a coffee. He goes over to talk to her, and she just ignores him. And he has this kind of like fear that other dudes are watching him like strike out in the thing. So she gets up to like go get more coffee or go to the bathroom or something. And he looks at the title of the book she's reading and he goes and Googles it real quick and learns a couple things. And then he goes and tries to talk about her again. And she finally turns around and she's like, oh, hey, what, did you need something? And he's like, and it turns out she's deaf in her right ear. So she's got her AirPod in her left ear, which of course he can't see. So she's listening to music, but then she can't hear anything that he's saying. And so she's like, I'm deaf in one ear, dude. So just like, why don't we start this over? And that kind of becomes a running gag. It's like, why don't we start over through the movie whenever they're having a problem? And so, so they meet and he lies and he said they read the book and then they go to dinner and she's like, well, what do you think about the ending? I'm not really sure I understood it. And he's like, I don't think if it's meant to be understood. He's totally bullshitting. And then he finally admits that he didn't read it and he just wanted to talk to her. And she thinks that's kind of cute, although she also thinks it's kind of weird, but at the same time she goes with it. And, 2 years later, they're engaged and, the movie is not linear. Like it jumps back and forth in time all the time because the thing that creates the drama is something that she almost did when she was like 14 or 15 years old. And I know I've seen people talking about this on the internet and they're like, she was in a gangbang or something like that. No, this movie's not that easy to figure out, I guess. I don't know. So they're at it's a week before their wedding and they're at their reception place and they're trying the menu items again, and you can tell that they've done this a couple of times and that the staff is like ready to murder them, but they're like so like all right guys, do you like the mushroom risotto? And they're like, yes, let's pull the trigger on the mushroom risotto. And the caterer is like, okay, this has got to be the final choice. And they're like, yep, final choice. And so they get another bottle of wine and they're talking, and Mamadou Atiye and Alana Haim are married and they're friends with him. And then they've become friends with her because, she's a part of his life now. And a lot of the movie, the opening anyway, hinges on them writing their vows for each other. Not their vows, but like writing a little, like what I love about you, why we're getting married. It's not really
Yeah.
vows per se.
Mhm.
And he's reading his to Mamadou Atiye, and he's like, don't mention that. Don't mention that. That's great. And then he mentions something and it like, it's so touching. It makes him cry. And he's like, yes. And so they're talking about that. And then Alana Haim brings up like the worst thing that Mamadou Atiye has ever done. And he's like, we're not telling that story. We're not telling that story. And she's like, oh, come on. It'll be funny. And then she says, look, before we got married, we decided to tell each other the worst thing that we had ever done. And
Oh boy.
that way we would know what it was. And then it would be out in the open and we wouldn't have to like discover later, oh, I did this thing when I was 20 that like, ruined people's lives or whatever. And so it turns out he was in Mexico with an ex-girlfriend and they were attacked by a dog, like a street dog. And he used his ex-girlfriend as a human shield to get past the dog.
Yikes.
It didn't end up biting either of them, but, and then Alana Haim lived next door to a kid who was kind of obsessed with her. He was a couple years younger, and she describes him as slow. And he comes to her one day and he's like, dude, I found an abandoned RV in the woods. Let's go look at it. And she's like, all right, fine. Cause he's basically harmless. And they go out there and she's like, this thing is it's like filthy and it's filled with porn and it's really gross. But he's just like, look at this and look at this. And she's like, I started to get really weirded out and there was an empty closet. So I just shut him inside it and left him there.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And they're like, did anything happen? She's like, well, I didn't tell anybody. And this dad comes over and says, hey, have you seen, I don't know the kid's name, let's just call him Mike. Have you seen Mike? And she's like, no, haven't seen him. And then she's like getting really nervous and she eventually goes to bed. And the next morning, the kid's there and his parents have him. And there's been this big manhunt all night long and they found him. And the kid is like so scared of what he'll do to her if he never tells anybody that she locked him in the closet. So she gets away with it. That's the worst thing that happened to her. And so then Robert Pattinson is like, well, I mean, I cyberbullied a kid so badly when we were teenagers that like he had to change schools. And they're like, what? He's like, yeah. He's like, it was really fucked up and stupid. And he's like, I actually kind of regret it, and then the whole time it's cutting to Zendaya looking like she wants to be anywhere but here. For one thing, they're all kind of drunk, but you can tell that whatever hers is, she's really worried about telling them. And so I'm going to tell you, Evan, do you want me to do this? Because
come on, we've already come this far. You've already told me what's going on.
She planned when she was in like either an 8th grade or a freshman in high school, she planned a school shooting and went to do it, but she didn't do it because the same day there was another school shooting the next town over. So she didn't do it. Oh my
God. Whoa.
Yeah. Yes. And then, she even takes the gun to school with her, but like somebody like runs into her homeroom and they were like, there was a shooting at blah, 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 and like one of her classmates was there. Like, I can't remember he was visiting a friend at this other campus or what, but so it's all freaked out. And then they're in one of the flashbacks, they're talking about it. And, somebody mentions how there's never girls who do school shootings. And she's like, yeah, there are, because she's researched it and she knows everything. So she's like, this one and this one and this one. And this kid comes up to her afterward and he's like, hey, you must be really affected by this kind of stuff if you know so much about it. And she's like, yeah. And she has no friends at the school because her dad's in the military, so they move all the time. And then at this school in particular, she's been shit on a lot by the other kids, which is one of the reasons she wanted to do the school shooting. And he says, well, I'm putting together an anti-violence group. Our first meeting is tomorrow after school. Will you come and do it? And she's like, okay, because she has no friends. And then, so she goes to the anti-violence group and then she becomes like their most like fervent member. And she starts like giving anti-gun speeches and things like that and kind of becomes a student activist.
Damn.
Meanwhile, in the present, when she tells her fiance and Alana Haim and her husband about this, Alana Haim is like, what the fuck, Emma? My cousin Sam is in a wheelchair because of a school shooting. And it's like, oh my God, this is even worse than it's. So the movie is just basically about everybody dealing with the fallout of this. And what do we do now that we know this thing? And they all go crazy to their own degrees. The one who goes the least crazy is Mamadou Atiye. His character kind of has this sort of, let's bring the temperature down kind of vibe about him. But Alana Haim is like fucking spitting. Well, I was going to say spitting bullets, but let's say splitting blood.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Robert Pattinson's not scared of her, but at the same time, he's like, what kind of person does that? What kind of person is she? And, you know, of course, Zendaya is like completely ashamed about her past and has, you know, done therapy and all kinds of stuff since then, you know, to deal with it. But, you know, she's still just mortified at what she was like then and you know, how everyone's going to think of her now. And she's afraid people are gossiping, which of course they are. And like, it's a whole thing. I loved it. I fucking loved it.
Did they end up getting married?
They do, but like, oh God. Everything comes to a head at the reception, of course, because I think that's what needs to happen in a movie like this. So Robert Pattinson keeps becoming more and more obsessed about it as the week goes on before their wedding. And Zendaya keeps getting more uptight about how he's more obsessed with it. And Alana Haim is her matron of honor, but she like won't return her calls. And so she doesn't even know if she's going to be there. And Robert Pattinson is talking to one of his coworkers one day. He's like, what's the worst thing you've ever done? And she says, you know, I cheated on my last boyfriend. He's like, really? That's the worst? And she's like, you don't think cheating's bad? And he says, well, yeah, I guess, but maybe you had a reason. So she tells him the story, and he's getting more and more like upset because his story is so awful, and he like freaks out, and like they're having lunch together, and he like shoves his food like across the table, and he goes into his office, and he's just like sobbing, and she's like, what is going on? And he just, one thing leads to another, and then of course they're making out, and then she's like, lifts up her skirt and he's about to fuck her, but then he just, you know, is overwhelmed with like shame and can't. And so she's of course going to the wedding because she's like one of the other curators at this museum. And she has kind of mentioned in passing that she would never cheat on her current boyfriend because she's like, you've seen Blake, he could kill me with one punch, you know, like that kind of thing. And so Zendaya thinks that she's talking about that the coworker is talking about the school shooting at the reception. Alana Haim gives this kind of unhinged speech without being totally horrible. Like it's like she kind of makes it uncomfortable, but she doesn't say, oh, by the way, Zendaya almost shut up her entire high school. She doesn't do that, but she's shitty about it. And then it gets back to the boyfriend that Robert Pattinson made a pass at the coworker, so he confronts him right when Robert Pattinson's doing him a speech, and he gets punched out. And then, you know, you see Robert Pattinson alone in their apartment, and he's trying to find Zendaya, and he's like, I'm, you know, you don't have to, I understand you don't want to see me. It's what I did is unforgivable. You don't have to, just send me a text and let me know that you're alive and that you're with your parents or whatever. And they had this, they'd kind of mentioned in passing, and I was thinking that, you know, Chekhov's coffee shop was going to come back around, but they had been mentioning how, why are we even spending a bunch of time thinking about what kind of food we're going to have at the wedding when we're not going to eat? Every wedding we've ever been to, the bride and groom never have time to eat, right? So, you know, we'll just go to like, I can't remember the name of the diner, but it is a diner around there at, you know, like 2 a.m, and we'll have a couple of cheeseburgers and it'll be great. And so he just goes over there. And she walks in later and she says, can I sit down? And he's like, of course you can sit down. But then she starts doing the thing where, like, let's start over. She pretends she doesn't know him. And she says, what happens to your face? And he's like, oh, there was this woman getting mugged. And, you know, I stopped the mugging, but the guy was like fucking huge and he beat the piss out of me or something like that. I don't remember. And it just kind of ends there with them just kind of sitting there married, but, you know, kind of, what do we do now? You know? So I don't know. I thought it was great. I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me more. What'd you love about it?
I think the performances are excellent. I don't think I've ever seen Zendaya in anything except Spider-Man movies. So to see her play an adult is kind of weird because, you know, Mary Jane's like 18 in the last Spider-Man movie because they're all about to go to college, which is also weird because Zendaya's like 30 and playing an 18-year-old. So She is very youthful looking. I will say that though.
Mm-hmm.
And Robert Pattinson is terrific.
Yeah. I think
It's got. Well, I was going to say it's really good at like setting a tone, and it's very funny at the beginning, and then it becomes less funny as time goes on, as the movie goes on. But not because it's less funny, but because it's becoming more tense. Kind of like we were talking about on Patreon. The mood of Blue Steel is one of the things that kind of gets you through some of the screenplay's shittier moments. Whereas this is just like the humor, like does a lot of heavy lifting at the beginning to get you some, to give the characters some real goodwill for when they start acting crazy later on, which is a really smart choice. And, I think it looks pretty good. I don't think it's anything like amazing, but it looks good. It feels like it was actually shot in a place as opposed to on a bunch of sound stages. So that's great. And there you have it. Bob's Your Uncle.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's really well done. I think that it uses time very well, jumping back and forth between, in particular, Zendaya's adolescence. You don't really she's really the only one you flash back to. I don't think you flash back to Robert Pattinson, although I don't remember, because of course I saw this on Sunday and we record this on Wednesday nights, and so I have of course forgotten everything but the broader beats. And I even took notes.
Oh, that's impressive. I found myself unable to take notes in a movie theater watching a movie. It's just too hard for me to like look down at the paper and then like write and then see in the dark when I'm writing. I'm so bad about that. Like if I did, I often would like immediately leave the theater and try and jot a few notes down of things that I remember.
I actually found a way to do that back when I used to write about movies all the time. I used like a standard reporter's notebook. And what I would do is each page was one note or two notes. I never tried to like write a whole bunch of shit. It was like, I'd write the time so I knew roughly like at what point the movie was. So you'd see like 43, meaning 43 minutes in, and then you'd be like, dog bites man on ass or whatever. And so those would be, I've got like countless reporters' notebooks with like the name of the movie. And also I should mention, written really large. That's why there's only one or two notes per page, so that even though your handwriting is terrible, because it's so big, you can kind of tell what you were saying. So that's how I did it. I didn't make a ton of notes in this because the other thing was I was having too much fun. Like I was just kind of like along for the ride,
Yep.
Because this is a movie about people falling apart for
like
your pleasure.
At a certain point, if I'm really into it.
Yep. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. I really had a good time with it. I think that even if you don't know Cambridge, Massachusetts very well, you can tell that it's real locations by and large. And what was there was one other thing about it. I can't remember what it was though. It's fine. Music was pretty good.
Nice.
Well, there's a recurring song in it that Zendaya uses to like lighten the mood whenever he's starting to get, because his character's a little bit, I wouldn't say that he's neurotic, but he's certainly more neurotic than she is. So, yeah. Anyway, I just really, I had a good time with it, and I think it's sharp, and it moves. I think the pacing is good, all good things. So there you go.
Sounds like a yay from Dave.
It is. If you recall my old Santa Fe Reporter ranking system, it was yay, okay, meh, and barf. Those are my 4 ratings. So there you have it.
So it's a yay.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Should we move on to our next movie then?
Sure.
So we're talking about the movie Pretty Lethal, which I think I mentioned at the top of the show. This is directed by Vicky Jewson and written by Kate Freund. I hope I'm saying that correctly. And it stars Maddie Ziegler, Lana Condor, Lydia Leonard, Avantika, I'm not familiar with her, Millicent Simmons, and Iris Apatow. Yes, of Judd Apatow.
Yes, I'm so happy that I spent the entire movie going like, why does this kid look like Leslie Mann? Oh, that's right.
Yes. Oh, and how did I forget Uma Thurman? She's in this too. She plays the
Yep.
antagonist in this. Yeah. So IMDb plot summary says it follows a group of ballerinas as they try to escape from a remote inn after their bus breaks down on the way to a dance competition. Yeah, I mean they're ballerinas. They're on their way, or dancers. They're on their way to a competition in Budapest, and they make it over. But then their bus breaks down in the middle of nowhere, and they end up in this like weird nightclub that's run by Uma Thurman, and she's a former dancer. And the vibe is real fucking weird in there. There's lots of like gangsters roaming around, and one of them shoots and kills their dance instructor. And so it becomes a whole green room type scenario, like Green Room, the Anton Yelchin movie, where they're locked in there and they have to fight their way out. And it's fun because it takes them very little time to realize, wait a minute, we're fucking ballerinas. We're super fucking tough. We like dance in pain all the time, and we're super flexible and strong and can tolerate a shit ton of pain. So then they just start like using that to their advantage, and just they kill the first guard. Kind of, I want to say accidentally, but it's a combination of luck and you know, moxie. And then they just start killing all the guys in there because they just keep sending more and more after them, and they just find fun ways to make weapons. Like one of them gets stabbed in the foot with like a razor blade, and she just sticks it in her in her ballet slipper and just starts using it to like slit guys' throats and like slash the shit out of them. And they all form fun makeshift weapons, and they team up, and there's fun scenes. Like there's one where they're just decimating a whole bar full of people. They're dancing and they're killing, and that was to me like the peak moment in the movie is the dancing and the killing. It's a lot of killing in this. And yeah, like Uma Thurman's character has some backstory where like the local crime boss who she's had to like operate under, he took her leg because her dad I think owed money, and so it ended her dancing career, and she's gonna get revenge against him, or get revenge on him, and she lures him because his idiot son is the one who's there and kills the woman, the dance instructor. She lures the dad there and has wired the place up with C4 and blows them all sky high. And but the girls manage to escape in the nick of time, and they get out of there, and they hop on some motorcycles, and they make it to the dance competition, and they dance in their bloodied outfits. That's the movie.
Yeah, that is the movie.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
You know what? I have no clue what you're going to say about this movie, but I really enjoyed this. I thought it was a lot of fun. And a damn good time. I liked the rapport between the different characters. Like, of course, there's one that's like Maddie Ziegler, our main character. Her nickname is Bones. And then we have Princess, Lana Condor's character, who's like, you know, the rich, spoiled type. And we've got Millicent Simmons. She's deaf without her hearing aids, so that adds some. And then there's like another girl who's like, you know, super religious, and of course she gets drugged and then is like having fun, you know, being high. I enjoyed the wisecracks in this. I enjoyed the killing. I thought the action scenes were fun and well choreographed, and I like the idea that the ballerinas. I feel like in some ways this is what the John Wick ballerina could have been. It could have been like fun dancing and killing in, you know, in concert with each other.
Yeah.
And I did enjoy Ballerina, by the way, the John Wick spinoff. That was fun, but I think there could have been more dancing, and I think this movie delivers the action and the dancing. And Uma Thurman is just chewing the scenery, and I'm it's fun to see her. I feel like I haven't seen her in anything forever. So I'm glad she's having fun. I don't really understand why she wants to torture these girls or like hold them hostage, other than they present some amount of inconvenience to her. But like even at the end when she decides to like let them go and she's like, it's your turn, go dance or whatever, girls. I'm like, why are we even holding them at this point? Like they're not your enemy. The crime boss is your enemy. Like they're dancers
Well,
like
yeah.
you. So that part didn't make a ton of sense to me.
Yeah. I was just going to say, you know, I mean, it's not their fault, but the stupid son of the crime boss, you know, did murder their teacher. So now they're a liability in that sense that they witnessed a homicide in her establishment. So at the very least, she has to hang on to them until he arrives, you know? So,
yeah.
Which I guess, you know, I mean, they kind of say that, but.
And I like the pop covers, like the Rhythm as a Dancer and some of the other songs I heard throughout the movie.
Yeah,
were fun to me. And lately, I feel like I hate covers in movies and TV because they do these like slow soulful covers of like every 80s song that you would have enjoyed otherwise. But I liked in this, and I mean they play the Nutcracker songs from the Nutcracker. I think the big action scene I think is one of the songs from the Nutcracker while they're just, you know, killing dudes left and right. But yeah, I had fun with this. I'm really wondering whether this worked for you or not. My sense is maybe not, but you'll tell me.
Well, why would you say not? I mean, you think you know me that well?
I don't know. So a movie like this, sometimes I'm not sure whether it's going to work for you or not.
Yeah, it didn't work for me at all.
Yeah, I didn't.
So, I mean, it's called Pretty Lethal. I would call it pretty bad. I would call the screenplay lethally shitty. It's not like, I mean, I don't want to say that it's bad because it's not bad. It's just kind of exactly what I expected, which is sort of disappointing. And, like, you know, you've got the rich bitch asshole girl and the tough girl from the streets. And the only thing I wasn't expecting was a Jesus girl, but I was like, well, and that was actually kind of the one thing I liked, her imagining that the Nutcrackers were helping her put together weapons to defend herself because she was so high. That I thought, I was like, that's actually a pretty good gag. And I think they could have played with that a little more. They did do the thing where they were on the stairs and she's like, we'll just walk through the walls because she thinks she can push through them.
Right.
Yeah.
And she's just there hitting the wall and the other ones are like, the fuck?
Yeah. But I mean, I didn't really like, not that I didn't like Maddie Ziegler's performance. I just didn't really like her character because it's just kind of, like I said, it's what I expected. And to your point, I just didn't really buy the way that this goes south so quickly. Also, it's just like they're in that bar for maybe 4 minutes before they're, you know, the one, I can't remember which girl it is who sees, oh no, it's their instructor who sees the tongue, branding.
Oh, the branding.
Right?
Yeah. The tongue branding. Yeah.
And then, you know, she goes downstairs, she tries to get the girls all together. And then, you know, the guy is just, now I can believe that some random asshole would just like put his hands on her and try to be like, blah, blah, blah. But then, you know, shooting her in the back of the head. And also it doesn't make sense because when you shoot somebody in the back of the head and there's no exit wound from the front of the head, and then you fall to the ground, the blood doesn't pool under you, it pulls from over top of you. But anyway, why quibble with that shit? But that's a problem when I start to notice shit like that, you know? I did like a couple of the scenes, like the one where they're all hiding behind the bar and not Iris Apatow, but her sister, the one who loses her hearing aid, Millicent Simmons. She makes she just starts making Molotov cocktails and throwing them over her head.
Right.
I thought that was kind of funny, but by and large, yeah, I didn't love it. I didn't, you know, it's grimy looking, which I get. It's like a weird action comedy that takes place in, you know, the outskirts of Budapest in Hungary. But it's also supposed to be like an actual bar because it's a front for crime. So I don't know why everything would be so grimy, considering like there's a lot of what looks to be like it's supposed to be expensive stuff on the walls and things like that. So just like I found the production design kind of not coming together. I did like some of the action scenes. I found the one where they were stuck in the hallway with those two guys, the one where Maddie Ziegler actually does get the idea to put the razor blade in her shoe or the box cutter or whatever it is. I actually found that scene to be like really long and just kind of like,
yeah, it was a bit long in the tooth, that particular scene. But there was some good stuff, like when she jabs the scissors into that guy's nose. I think that's like one of the first things that happens.
That was, I mean, some of the ways that they dispatch some of the guys are kind of fun, but I think by that point, the movie's kind of lost my goodwill. So I also think that, you know, if you're going to put people who are not used to fighting in a situation where they're going to fight and they're outnumbered, not that I expect this to be Die Hard, but you kind of want something like Die Hard, where, you know, the lulls in the action are so that you can have a breather from like the fucking insanity you've just witnessed in the last two scenes, as opposed to, you know, you're getting a breather here because they didn't really know how to connect the scenes together. So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't think it's bad. Like, I don't think it's bad. I'd like, you know, if you were going to do this on Letterboxd, you know, what is it? 5 stars is the top on Letterboxd. This is 2.5. It's fine. There's nothing. It should.
Yeah. So for you, that's like a C+, B-. It's not like.
I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, I really wouldn't go out of my way to watch it at all, except that we needed a movie this week.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm not like mad. I don't hate it. I'm not like, Evan, how could you do this? You know, and I don't think it's like weird that you like it. I mean, it just worked better for you than it did for me, you know?
Yeah.
But I've just spent like the last 5 minutes being like, so what were some of the other things you liked about it?
Yeah, I liked the scene where they're all hiding in the cabinets in the kitchen or the refrigerator, and there's like one guy who's trying to find them. And then they end up, I think, like blowing his hand off with a shotgun.
Yeah,
they all like come out of the woodwork to attack him. That was pretty fun. Yeah, I said some of the one-liners were working for me. Like when the one girl is like high, and the other girl's like, "Oh man, I wish I was high," and she's like, "Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's buzz."
Yeah. Yeah.
I just thought like silly things like that between the characters were effective for me.
Yeah, I think all the performers are fine, you know. I think, is Millicent Simmons the Iris Apatow's sister in this? Is she from
Quiet
Place? Yes. Okay. Because I'm like, I know who this kid is, but I can't remember. And then when we were talking about this just now, I'm like, it's got to be The Quiet Place. So,
yep.
Of course, we all know who Iris Apatow is because I've never seen anybody who looks exactly like her mother and her father. I mean, it's like, you know, if you didn't know Judd Apatow was her dad, you'd be like, and then and you're like, oh yeah. But the same with Leslie Mann. It's like she looks exactly like Leslie Mann too. So I like Leslie Mann. I wish she were in more movies than like Judd Apatow movies and like early Adam Sandler movies. But whatever, you can't.
Yeah, that's true. Very true. Yeah, I'm trying to think what else. Oh, I was not liking at first the torture scene where the doctor guy was gonna rip her toenail out, but I enjoyed it when she like made it seem like she was gonna be really upset, and she was like, "Ha, I lose toenails all the time."
Yeah.
Why don't you actually do something that scares me, you fucking bozo?
I did like that, actually. That is one moment that I liked when her character was just like, ha ha, you're an idiot. But I did find the whole idea of just watching him, like, you know, pull the bullet out of the back of their teacher's head and then cut her fingers off. I'm like, this is a little much, you know?
Yeah, it's a little gruesome, for sure.
But I think, I don't know. I feel like I sound like such an old person. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to everybody. I am not a boomer. I'm not, you know, I'm Gen X, squarely Gen X. But some of this is a little gruesome for, I think, no good reason, really. I mean, I think it's perfectly necessary to show the tongue branding because it's one of those things where it's like, if you cut away from that, it's like, Okay, I mean, it's effective, but if you see somebody's tongue being branded, then there's more of a, oh, oh, this is a horrible situation that we need to
Right.
leave. Right. There's a
Yeah.
real sense of urgency. You've raised the stakes.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. You're establishing the stakes of this place too. Like, okay, this people are getting their fucking tongues branded. What other fucking gnarly shit is happening under this roof? Like,
Yeah.
why is everybody calling Uma Thurman's character Mama? Why are all the young men calling her Mama? Like,
Yeah.
that also is unsettling.
Yeah. And then there's also, like we were just talking about when they're cutting off the instructor's fingers later. It's like, we get it. We know what kind of place this is. We saw the tongue branding, you know? So,
Right. We saw
Yeah.
them like, escorting them downstairs and like closing the sliding locking stuff behind them, and like
mhm.
none of them are noticing that. Like, wait a minute. So many of them are just like naively like, okay, sure, let's go down here. We'll wait until they call the cops. They're not fucking calling the cops. Come on.
Yeah, I know. That's all right, though. They spend all their time dancing. They're not like learning about stuff that you should know on the street or in the woods near Budapest, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Although you would think that the poor girl who's a ballerina would know better than that, but whatever.
I mean,
Why
she does make a
quibble?
break for it. She gets caught, and then
That's true. That's right. She runs.
she gets
Yeah,
whacked in the head with a shovel. And I
That's
love how
right.
in the beginning they're like, "Oh, don't talk to him. He's a mute." And I was like, in my head, I was like, they definitely cut his tongue out. He's not mute by choice, or is
Yeah,
not
no
mute.
kidding.
Like, I knew immediately it was tongue related, and then when I saw the tongue branding, I'm like, okay, yep, that guy out there definitely just doesn't have a tongue.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, and there's some good, like Chekhov's mute guy. I guess we've started to take this Chekhov thing far. You and me. I mean,
Yeah.
me. I do it a lot, but you do it too.
Mhm.
Chekhov's mute guy.
Yeah, it's fucking funny. Come on.
I know. No, but it's true though. It's just like when you see that there's one of the dancers can't hear without her hearing aid, it's like, all right, well, now we've got, Chekhov's deaf girl. I mean,
Mhm.
like
Right.
she's not going to know any of this is going on because her hearing aid is on the fritz,
Right. Yeah, and I love that she's like making out with the like skinny blonde guy. She's like, I'm sitting here watching this movie and waiting for him to give me a tattoo. Like, there's been a lot of shit we got to catch you up on.
Yeah. Well, also, it was kind of funny how at first she just didn't believe them at all. She's like, what are you
Mhm.
talking about? And, Iris Apatow has to do some quick signing.
Hmm.
So, yeah. So certainly not a waste of time, but, not my bag generally.
Yeah, fair enough. I really wasn't sure. I feel like it could go either way.
Well, I mean, I certainly didn't hate it. I mean, you would have caught both barrels with that shit.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's actually, I think it's been a while since I really hated something, unless I've blocked something out. I don't know. I mean, I know that I
Yeah.
didn't like Scared to Death, and neither do you, but I wasn't like we like hated it. It was more just like, oh, what a bummer,
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely a bummer. But yeah, I can't think of anything, and like it's been at least a few weeks, I feel like, since you saw something you're like, I fucking hated this.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we didn't love War Machine, but we also weren't just like,
Yeah.
So
We also didn't like Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. That was
that
not
was
good.
it. I think I was pretty rancorous about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I recall correctly.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to listen to that episode again because I don't want to think about that movie. So,
Right.
people ask me sometimes, like, do you ever listen to your own show? I'm like, I do, but not if I really hated the movie. Then I'm usually like, I don't need to hear that one because I don't want to get mad about it all over again.
I usually listen to every episode as kind of quality control to like make sure we didn't like miss something and there's like weird things. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I do that. But yeah, I agree. I'm not gonna go back and like listen to lots of episodes in the back catalog. I usually just record it and listen to it like once.
Every once in a while, to remind myself of how far we've come, I listen to like the first few minutes of the first like dozen episodes or so, and I'm just like, oh my God, the audio quality.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Well, we were using your old equipment back
Yeah,
then.
my old late 1980s like analog mixer that we had to like hold together with rubber bands, otherwise it would buzz.
Yeah. I think I still have that around here somewhere, by the way. I don't think I ever gave that back to you.
That's okay. I mean, you can keep it, you can give it back, it doesn't matter. It's a collector's piece at this point.
A collector's piece from Spoiler Piece.
Collector's piece from Spoiler Piece.
Yeah. By the way, people, if you're listening to the show and you are sending us an email about covering your movie, Spoiler Piece, one word, not two.
Yeah. I don't even know why you would think it was 2 words.
I don't know. I just feel like every email we get about, hey, please cover my movie, it's like Spoiler Piece, 2 words. Don't know why. We don't say it anywhere. I feel like it's pretty unambiguous.
Well, I know, especially if you like look at the art, or if you know, the old art or the current art, clearly one word, you know? So,
sorry. That was just my own cranky tangent. But
that's okay. You're allowed to have those.
Every once in a while, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think that does it, right? I feel like that we've covered both movies. So it's a yay for you on the drama. I would say it's a yay for me on Pretty Lethal. You sound like it's a nay.
Well, it's not. This is really just like, you have nothing to do on Saturday afternoon. You're kind of cleaning the house. Sure. You know?
Yeah. Oh, and I forgot to mention, the drama is going to be in theaters, and Pretty Lethal is on Amazon Prime. That's where you can watch it.
Correcto.
So that does it for this week's episode. I want to say thank you to our editor, Otto Clamor. Otto, thank you for making us sound so great week after week.
Otto Clamor. I decided to do a sing-songy thing there.
You can find the show anywhere you get podcasts, but we also have a website, spoilerpiece.com. I'm going to admit we definitely have not updated that in a while, but we do have a link to our merch there.
Yeah, I should look into that. Note to self.
Yeah, or maybe even just find a way just to redirect it to our Libsyn page, which just updates with new episodes or something. Yeah, that's something we can figure out. But we're on social media. If you want to get in touch with us, you can also email us, spoilerpiece@gmail.com. And if you like the show, please rate and review us. Go to ratethispodcast.com/spoilerpiece. And if you really, really like the show, consider joining our Patreon. As I mentioned at the top of the show, we talked about the 1990 film Blue Steel this week. Talk about lots of old fun movies. And it's $5 a month to get those bonus episodes every week and vote in our monthly polls. And my name is Evan Crean. I'm co-chair of the Boston Online Film Critics Association, co-author of Your 80s Movie Guide to Better Living, and co-host of the It's the Pictures podcast. And you can follow me on social media as Real Recon. That's real as in film reel.
And my name is Dave Riedel. I am a member of the Boston Online Film Critics Association, and I am all over the social medias as Dave Sees Movies. That's on Instagram, Letterboxd, and I don't know, Threads or something. And I'm David Riedel on Blue Sky.
Nice.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next week.
Bye, everyone.